to anyone that's watching. My name is Jamir Perez. I am taking IT114 section 005 with Professor Matt Togel, and I'm demoing my trivia game project for the class. So I have the server started already. I'm just going to go ahead and start 3 UIs. While I'm doing this, just a quick rundown of the general project. Well, quick background about me. I previously took the class, transferred from another class or another university, was put to take the class in my first semester. I wasn't really prepared, didn't do very well. Came back because I had to retake it, and I feel like I did a little bit better. So I chose Trivia Guesser just because it sounded very appealing. Or not Trivia Guesser, just Trivia Game, because it sounded very appealing to me. And I felt like it was the most, straightforward project out of the many options that we had. Just going through the milestones. Milestone 1 was primarily given to us already. It was mainly dealing with the client and server connections, which was pretty straightforward. We didn't really need to configure much, and I feel like I had a good grasp. Milestone 2, however, that was the majority of the work, I feel. It doesn't really show, or Milestone 2 isn't really shown with the work done here, or for this milestone, but Milestone 2 is mainly in the server area. So things like game room, server thread, payload type, phase. For me, I have points payload, question payload, ready payload, room action, which was already given to us, but majority of these files were in Milestone 2. Some files to highlight, as previously mentioned, game room. This is where majority of the action is happening. Loading the questions I have. It's only 6 questions, but loading the actual questions and displaying that to the clients is happening over here. Making sure the file path is correct so that the file actually grabs. Handling the room action information, like people joining rooms or syncing the scores to the players. Players joining in, the time in the round, what happens on session start, or in this case on round start, how the round is actually initiated with the ready, well this time it's the ready button, previously it was with /ready command. What happens when there's no questions, what happens when all users answer the question, which should trigger on round end, which is pretty much just ending the round and resetting the state back to the ready check. Additionally, we have formatting for the questions, so it's clearer for the users to read. Unfortunately, I was having issues with the UI and properly displaying the questions and answers clearly, although they do show up in the UI logs for the users to view, but I just couldn't get it really to show up on the general area of the UI. Additionally, this is where the logic for text, or displaying the text for how many points a user earned and whether the question they got was correct or not, and displaying how many points they have based on that answered question. Additionally, when the game is over, for some reason it wasn't really translating when I was working on Milestone 3. In Milestone 2, the game or the final scoreboard was showing. I couldn't really tweak anything really in time because due to my very busy schedule over the past 2 weeks, but it was there. Like I mentioned, there's the correct and incorrect areas. So when a user answers a question incorrectly or correctly, it does let you know. And additionally, there's stuff for when one client is ready and the other ones aren't. Okay, so right now I'm going to create a room for users to join. I'll name it game, and you see once a user joins a room or a created room, it automatically puts them in the state before clicking ready and formats the room differently than the general chat room. So we do this, I'll rejoin the room now for the other clients. You can see the log that, or on the far right, you can see the users that joined. It also shows up over here, but see a log, a mini log, and another log over here. You see when someone clicks ready, it is waiting. And once all of them click ready, the game starts. Unfortunately, again, I was having issues where actually displaying stuff on the UI, like the time, the category, and the question. But the category and question with the options, the question appears here, those other two appear over here. But all three do appear on that sidebar. So since the timer doesn't really work, there's not really incentive to answer quickly other than gaining more points. When answering, the user has to do /answer as always, and the options are there, but it's listed by A, B, and C, A, B, C, D. So in this case, the first question is, the first iPhone was released in what year? In this case, it'd be 2007. So user would put /answer B. You see that it says correct. Answer was locked in. And you see on the client end, bot1, which is this one, is locked in their answer. So we do /answer C, just say incorrect. And then you have to wait for the round to end. It also says the bot 3, which is this one, has locked in their answer. So once this one finishes, we'll give the correct answer. It's done, and the round ends. As you can see, the correct answer was B. There's also a scoreboard. So right now, since bot 1 answered first, they have 10 points. Bot 2 has 3 since they answered second. And bot 3 has 0 since they got it incorrect. And then once we're ready up, it should give us a different question. In this case is, what is the best-selling video game console of all time? The answer is the PlayStation 2. So in this case, it'd be C. Another issue I was running into was previously for Milestone 2, the points did add up throughout the round. But for this one, for some reason, the points reset each round. I couldn't really figure out why that was happening. But yeah, it is like that. But as you can see, players do get different points based on the speed that they answer the question. Another question we have is, what year was the PlayStation 1 released? This would be 1995. would be D. And again, that is pretty much the game flow. As I mentioned previously, majority of this is happening in game room with, again, with connections and like messaging stuff happening in server thread and server. Majority of the UI updates is happening in play view and game view. Where majority of just the formatting and retrieving of data is happening here, like listing the players, putting the colors. For ready view, that's where the ready button is being made, and like the waiting or ready waiting logic is happening. And then for game view, this is where the phases are occurring and any updates pertaining to the client IDs. Other than that, everything was pretty much given to us. So with that, I'm gonna end this demonstration. It was quite short due to not really needing or having the ability to meet majority of the needed changes, but I felt like I met what was needed of me to my best ability. Thank you, and this is the end of my recording. Have a good day.